Hey everybody, it's me, Aubrey with Simply Spiritual. How's it going? So, I know it's been a few months since I've put out a video last. I'm sorry, things have just gotten hectic. And I am mostly doing my live feeds on Instagram. So, if you really wanted to follow me regularly and see like current updates and things like that, follow me at It's Your Universe on Instagram. Then you'll see all the updated content and everything like that. With YouTube, I'm going to try to put out as much content out as possible, but please bear with me. I'm a little slow with this platform. So anyway, I'm not going to be editing this video today, so you guys will probably notice, hey, where's the fun, quirky little like things that are happening? The reason why I'm not going to edit this is because, one, this is going to be a long ass video to edit, and then it's going to take me some days to put this out there. And I know since it's been such a long time since I put anything out for you guys, I want to make sure that you get this content like ASAP. So, you know, here we go. In the meantime, also, if you can support me on Patreon, patreon.com/itsyouruniverse, that will help me continue to put out this content. And, you know, perhaps if I do have a little bit more financial backing, that could actually help me a little bit more as far as creating better content for you and more consistent content. So if you're able to support my Patreon page, that would be dope. Okay, so are you guys ready for some predictions? Yay! All right, so for those who have been following me since day one, pretty much since the beginning of 2020, if you've been following my track record, I'm pretty sure you've noticed a lot of my predictions coming true. So even I've noticed predictions coming true. I'm like, wow, holy crap, I was right. So I guess for an intuitive, I mean, even for somebody like me, sometimes I surprise myself. So it's actually kind of cool when it does happen, even though they may not be the best of predictions. Granted, the future's never set in stone, so things do have the tendency to change, especially here in the age of 2021, where we're going to be undergoing some really interesting scenarios as far as like quantum shifts, timelines merging, changing. So it's almost like there's this inconsistency of 2021 that's starting to happen, especially when it comes to time. So that's something that I'll kind of touch on a little later on in this video. But yeah, expect 2021 to really have some weird components to it. I think we're really going to understand fully a little bit more about this universe, because there are people that know, especially those within our own branches of government. They've done experiments for years, especially since the 50s and 60s. So, you know, a lot of our government already knows what's out there, and that includes alternate universes, quantum mechanics, psychics, telekinesis, that sort of thing. So I really do feel like we are going to start to get some more disclosure of this. It's made more publicly. For those who aren't familiar, I believe it was back in 2017, 2018 when the CIA actually released a crap ton of documents going over things like this. It was very hush-hush by the media. So I do believe that things will start to gradually come out more and more throughout this year, and especially in the next year. We're gonna really learn a lot about humanity, the planet, magic, mysticism, psychic stuff, like I said, as well as integrating ourselves with alternate universes that we are living with parallelly. It's not a word, you know, parallel to. Anyway, so yeah, get ready for some, like, again, weird events to start taking place, especially I feel like after the month of August. There seems to kind of be like a shift around that time. However, yesterday was just the new moon and the solar eclipse. So this was actually a very, very important day as far as transformation is concerned. So actually following yesterday and after today, we're really going to start to see a lot more information coming out, and justice being served on top of that. So that's going to be awesome. But because we're in Mercury Retrograde as well, so we had the eclipse, and then we have the new moon, and then we're in the smack dab in the middle of Mercury Retrograde. So what it could eventually come out over the next couple of weeks while we're still in this retrograde energy, especially, is news. Mercury rules communication. So with that being said, we are going to start to see a lot more communication coming out, especially after Mercury goes direct. And that's in the next couple of weeks. So I believe it's the 17th. I would have to double check the calendar, but it's soon. So we still have a couple more weeks of this energy, and so after it moves direct is when all of these bombshells just go off, and it's just going to be wild and crazy. So we have a lot to look forward to, even though that things have been, you know, still chaotic and messy. Granted, like I've mentioned before, yeah, this year has been somewhat better than last year. We are starting to see improvement. We're starting to see corruption being revealed. We're starting to see karma really play its role as far as, you know, the people that are behind the scenes and doing some dirty business. So we're going to actually end up seeing more of that in the weeks to come, especially with our favorite Oompa Loompa doctor. He's going down, and it's going to be fantastic when that happens. So amongst other people too. So you got to understand, like, this dude, he's not the major player. He's basically kind of like, I want to say, a scapegoat in some sort of way, where there's definitely bigger higher ups. And you got to understand that this is all an illusion. This is all a game. So things are kind of playing out the way that they were intending to play out. So, you know, Mr. Fauci basically kind of being thrown under the bus for the emails and everything that's coming out. He's not the main guy. So make sure that you don't keep yourself distracted from really what's going on, because the actual people behind the scenes, they're still doing their thing in secret, and then they're still going to try to get away with what they have planned. So it's important for us to not just see one picture, but the full one. So I just kind of want to throw that out there. Now, all right, so I wrote a list of predictions that I'm going to cover as far as the remaining part of this year. However, I will still try to put out content too, because just because I'm putting these predictions out here, I often get updates. So, you know, sometimes I'll have visions or, you know, feelings or whatever. And then I go usually on my Instagram live feeds to update people. So that's why please follow me on Instagram if you haven't. If not, we'll just do our thing here. So, okay, anyway. So I'm seeing quite a lot of energy taking place, and this is actually going to be happening soon. I would even say as soon as mid-June, we're really going to start to see action happening. So this summer is definitely going to be very intense. And like I've mentioned before in like my weather prediction videos, is that I definitely saw this summer as being very warm and toasty. So record-breaking heat and weird weather patterns that we're gonna start experiencing. And I have mentioned this before, so I'm just bringing this up again, just as a friendly reminder. I really would prepare for blackouts. And, you know, people are probably going to believe that these blackouts are accidental. You know, we're seeing a lot of this like cyber hacking thing, and the cyber hacking, I'm sorry, it's BS. I freaking call this too. And basically, this is definitely going on within our own government, and we need to really pay attention to that and be diligent. They're trying to, you know, gaslight the Russians. It's not the Russians. In fact, we may end up starting to piss off the Russians if we keep doing this. So that's a whole other story. Anyway, yeah, so really prepare for a possibility of power outages here. What we're going to see as far as like these weather changes and these scenarios that could possibly be happening to us could be kind of pushed on climate change. but the fact of the matter is that they are organizing this. They are trying to convince us that we really need to do something to change the climate by giving them their money. And so they're going to be basically like factoring up these weird weather patterns and causing these intense heat waves. This is globally too. I actually see a lot of heat happening in Europe as well. You know, I feel like England and places like that are definitely going to start to see some really wacky weather patterns, like very hot weather that they haven't experienced in a long time. Those poor pasty English people, you're going to be so red. So if I have any English followers that are watching me, have a fan ready, air conditioning if at all possible, and I would definitely advise everyone to have a generator. You definitely need a backup supply. I can't necessarily pinpoint where I see these blackouts happening. It just feels like this is kind of like this random event in certain areas, especially the hotter areas. So I think California could definitely be it. Texas, I think I've reminded you guys, Texas is definitely in trouble. There's going to be a lot that happens over there. So just make sure that you are prepared. So yeah, be prepared for power outages as well as internet outages. They're going to start, you know, blaming these hacks. You know, it's the Russians, and it's like, bro, no, it's not the Russians. Why are they doing this? Well, it's like it's a plan. Okay, so it's almost like a test run, because I really do feel like a lot of this is to put us back in that fear energy and make us more dependent on the government. The government kind of putting this facade on, oh, we're here to help, you know, you need us, you know, and we need to switch over, you know, if it weren't for, you know, the energy that you guys use, if we were to use more like green energy, you know, we would be able to have better sustained electricity. And like they're gonna use this whole thing in order to push the climate change movement. Now, I just want to put that out there. I am not a climate change denier. I 100% believe that we could do better as far as our climate is concerned and in our environment, and we definitely need to take steps to create a better, more sustainable future. However, the way they're going about it is wrong, and this is for greed. It has nothing to do with climate change whatsoever. What they want to do is they want to put money in corporations' pockets, and it's under the facade of helping the environment and the climate, and it's not. It's 100% pure corruption. And they use this whole climate change thing in order to tug on the heartstrings of environmentalists and people who care. And I used to be those people. I used to be like, yeah, how could you deny climate change? You're a crazy person. But fact of the matter is, yeah, it's real, but it's not being handled in an ethical way. So something people really need to pay attention to. I definitely see things happening with the sun, so solar storms, solar flares. I feel like this could also cause like more blackouts, perhaps even affect our satellites. And I also feel like we're going to experience southern auroras. So these magnetic storms could actually be quite intense, to the fact where, you know, we could probably see auroras as far south as Southern California. Now, I feel strongly that it could be this year, if not, probably next year. But I'm definitely feeling this energy, and I keep seeing the visions of the sun, and it's very hot and it's very intense. So just be careful. And I definitely do see something dealing with our satellite systems. I don't know. I feel like there's going to be failed satellites. I even had a vision of like a satellite igniting, or it felt like it got hit by something. So it could be a UFO, it could be a meteor. I wasn't exactly sure, but it feels like an object hits one of our satellites. And I think it's going to be an important satellite too. So just be prepared for that. We are starting to see a meat shortage. Now, I'm pretty sure some people have seen where, there have been some news articles talking about like potential meat shortages or whatever. I just want to say that I actually put out this prediction a couple months ago, and you can actually find this on my Instagram. So before the meat shortages started happening, I actually predicted this, but I'm going to put that out there because I still feel like there is a very strong potential that we could have a shortage on our meats. And again, this is to push the whole, GMO burger thing. Not good. Not good. They're trying to get rid of meat so they could start feeding us synthetic food. It's better for the environment, apparently. So we don't want to eat that crap. It's bad for us, especially with all the soy in it. It gives hormonal imbalances and problems. It's just no bueno. Water problems. So I do feel like even with our water systems, that's going to be problematic. I see polluted water. So people turning on their sinks and it's like brown water, sludgy water. I definitely got a lot of energy with dirty water showing up. This could also maybe be related to storms in the area, and then following the storms could come out this nasty, gross water. So make sure that you stock up on water, get bottled waters, whatever you need, but I would definitely recommend a backup of water. Meteors and asteroids, I feel like we're going to start really seeing that energy pick up here, and I do have a feeling we may actually get struck by a significant sized meteor sometime this year. Feels like fall time. I would say between August and September when we could actually see that happening. It did feel to me, it was off the coast of some island, but I'm really drawn to like South Asia area, so like the Philippines, Indonesia, around that area is where I feel like maybe this impact could end up happening, which could be potentially devastating for those people. So fingers crossed this doesn't happen. Hopefully it just drops in the middle of the ocean and a few fish get hurt and that's it. And that would be too horrible. So, but yeah, there is a possibility that these people might be in trouble, or some island somewhere could have a problem. So yeah. False flag attacks. There's going to be so many distractions that come our way in the near future, especially with all of this new information that's coming out and revealing all of this corruption, with Fauci, with whomever, because more of this is going to start coming out throughout the next few weeks, and it's going to be explosive. So in order to distract us, they're really going to do whatever they can to create a diversion and to freak us out and scare us. So we have to be mindful of that. If there's any like terrorist attacks, even UFO invasions, I would be mindful of that because it's basically just going to be a distraction. And I feel like there's a very strong possibility that something could come up even very soon here. So just be mindful. Alien visitation disclosure, that's definitely on its way here, as I've been talking about for the last year and a half. I'm like, guys, the whole thing with aliens, that's coming out. So we're definitely seeing a pattern of that information coming out now, which is great. However, one of my biggest concerns is that I really don't trust the agenda they're trying to push. Yes, aliens are real and they've been around for a long ass time. However, what they're going to try to do is make it seem like there's some sort of threat to us and that we need to be careful. Fact of the matter is that that's not true at all. If aliens were a threat to us, they would have destroyed us thousands of years ago. Most of them are just here to protect us. Some of them are actually working with our own governments. Some of them do have bad intentions, but we've got the Galactic Federation on their side. They're our homies, and they're going to try to help raise the global ascension of the planet. So when this information comes out officially and they're like, we really think that these guys are a national security threat, it's BS. Don't buy it. These guys have been excuse me, these guys have been working with aliens forever, like especially since the 1940s. So when they try to say, oh, we don't know what these are, or we think it's a threat, they're BSing. They know what they are. They've been working with them forever. They're just trying to scare us. So don't be scared. Shocking classified information, that kind of goes back to what I was talking before. Documents, unclassified documents from the CIA, FBI, all of this is going to start leaking gradually throughout the rest of this year. I feel like 9/11 is also going to be rehashed at some time as well. UFOs, again, psychics, alternate universes, time travel, like all of this is going to start coming out throughout this year and again into next year. That's going to be very exciting. We're really going to understand who we are in humanity, or, you know, and as a planet in our solar system. We are going to learn so much. Like 2020 was definitely the catalyst of like this major change and shift into a whole new paradigm. And with this paradigm shift, we're going to learn so much about our origins, where we're from, what life is about, the afterlife. Like, we are going to evolve so much, and it's going to be so amazing. And that's actually something I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to give a lot of people relief, especially as spiritual woo-woo people. We're finally going to get to be recognized for our gifts, and that'll be nice to finally, you know, have people admit psychics are real. They are real people, and everything else is real. So, I'm really looking forward to that day. So be prepared. That's going to be awesome. Let's see what else. Yeah, I see something happening with animals. Like, there seems to be maybe some sort of virus or something that starts to kind of make animals a little loopy or acting odd. So be careful. Another thing I see with animals too is a potential like virus, almost kind of like a mad cow disease type situation that could primarily affect our chicken and our beef. I don't know if it's going to be a return of mad cow, or it could be just something similar, but I get like a correlation between like animals going crazy and some sort of weird disease or virus. Again, this is deliberately done on purpose in order to get us off of meat. So don't buy it. Earthquakes, we're definitely going to see some earthquake patterns heading all over the place, very strong and also very devastating earthquakes. What shows up the most is Alaska, Japan, California, which I'm in, as well as I feel like the Pacific Northwest. I get them getting some earthquakes as well, which isn't too common up there. And I do see tsunamis and a lot to do with like waves, the ocean, things like that. So again, be prepared for this. I think that we're definitely going to see very significant earthquakes between now and the end of this year. Italy too. I feel like there could be a very strong possibility. Italy, Rome, those areas. Definitely see natural disasters or earthquakes hitting that area, because I was having visions of like their institutions, their like, you know, cathedrals, things like that. I see them collapsing, but it's like happening on purpose too, because this is a huge reset. So get ready for earthquakes. This is biblical, guys. Like, this is legit Armageddon. I mean, I'm not Christian, but I grew up religious, and I definitely remember all of the stuff that my parents ingrained in me when it came to Armageddon and the book of Revelation, and I can definitely see a huge correlation. But, you know, on another spectrum too, is that many other societies and ancient tribes have also predicted the end of times. They all were pretty much the same story. The Hopi, the Aztecs, the Mayans, all sorts of different cultures, they all predicted the same scenario to happen. And I definitely believe that we are in that time frame. We are in the Armageddon phase. However, it's not what the Bible says. It's not that only Christians are going to be saved. It's going to be the kind of heart. It's going to be the people that evolve and resonate in a higher vibration. Those are going to be the people that survive this. So it's super important to take care of yourself at this time, to be in a high vibration, to be loving and kind. Because if you're not able to raise your vibration, unfortunately, you will be merging with these other lower vibrational energies that could potentially, I can't say, like you might not be around after that. So not trying to threaten anybody or scare anybody, but it's like we really have to work on our spirituality and getting there. And you don't have to be like a spiritual woo-woo person or anything like that. You could be whomever you want to be, but you really gotta get in touch with yourself. You gotta really work through your traumas and your pain, and you have to allow yourself to ascend. That is going to be the only way that gets us through that. So remember, okay? I do see terrorist attacks in London as well. It may actually be a shooting. I saw like a man in some sort of like major area, and it seemed to be in London. I feel like there could be some casualties associated with that. It feels like a shooting, and this also kind of might turn into a racial thing as well. So just be on the lookout for that. They might use this as kind of like a racial agenda to a certain extent. Inflation, I think we all see that coming. That's going to be a problem. Possibly housing shortages coming up as well. So we do have a lot going on, and it is going to be quite frustrating. I think the biggest prediction that I have is, again, I still feel that there are going to be major changes and restructuring that happen within our own government, within the White House. And I feel like that energy is coming very soon. I really don't feel like Joe is going to last too much longer. I do believe that this is going to be a situation where Kamala could step forward, but also the election frauds are going to be coming out in the next couple months too. That's going to shift our government so drastically that I do feel like there's a very strong possibility we will get a new leader by the end of this year. Possibly next year. It's hard to say with timing, but I wouldn't be surprised by the end of this year we end up getting a new leader. And it's not who you think it will be. It's going to be a whole new person. Like I said before, still feel a strong female energy attached to it, so it could be a female. I guess we'll see, but either way it goes, we are getting a new leader. However, it's an interim leader, which means that there's going to be this whole new process that we're going to have to go through again. But we're going to have to restructure our government. So that could potentially happen when Pluto goes back into Capricorn. And I believe that is around the month of August or September. So more than likely, that's what's going to happen. We end up entering this restructuring phase when Pluto goes back into Capricorn, which means our whole system is going to change. Our whole government is going to be way different than what it is. So we have a lot to look forward to. There will be peace restored. In fact, by the end of this year, I actually do feel people starting to come together, being more unified and united. So we are going to start to notice this more unification taking place by the end of this year. There will be a lot of losses, a lot of casualties, mostly with regards to the vaccines. But not only that, but with these bad weather patterns as well. There also is this very strong chance of a new virus. Feels like some sort of mutation of some sort. I do believe that this is also pre-planned. I feel like this could come out by the end of this year, quite possibly November. Definitely probably more of like a more deadlier type of virus, but it only kind of seems to affect certain types of people, much like COVID. So they may end up making it seem like it's a big scary thing, But if you take care of yourself and you eat right and you stay in a high vibration, chances are you will be just fine. So don't let this scare you. It might have some sort of like, I know this sounds weird, but some sort of like zombie element to it, or it could kind of like, I don't know, it could actually affect the brain, which I would imagine that could be a very scary scenario. But I get something about this virus deliberately kind of like attacking the brain in some level. So yeah, that might be really worrisome. But remember, as we get through this and we stay in love and light, we are going to thrive and we are going to evolve so hard, guys. And, you know, this is going to be a great thing for humanity overall, but we just have to get through everything that's coming up. We have to make sure that we are not being deceived and lied to during this time, because people will be easily manipulated, and we're going to have to make sure that we break through those barriers and stick with our truth. There's a lot to come. Just stay in love and light. And again, prepare. Very important. All right. So with that, I bid you adieu. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to schedule a personal appointment with me, you can go to my website at itsyouruniverse.com and you can book directly on my website and we will chat personally. So, all right, thanks again for watching and I will see you later. Bye.